Following protests over the death of George Floyd, statues of Confederate leaders and Christopher Columbus are under fire nationwide, with some officials deciding to remove them or protesters tearing them down themselves.
New at 6, Madeline O'Neill tells us where the Christopher Columbus statue in Columbus, Wisconsin stands.
I grew up in Columbus myself, and the statue was always here, almost fading into the background for me. But now Petition is bringing it to the forefront.
My thought process was, I don't want to just do nothing about racial injustice in our community, especially now.
The Christopher Columbus statue sits on Highway 16, visible to drivers leaving and entering Columbus.
Christopher Columbus was not a good person. They're not greeted with. He did so many horrible things. He sold children into sex slavery. He owned thousands of Native Americans as slaves. We don't see that.
Columbus High School senior Abby Adams doesn't want the statue destroyed, but she's starting a petition to place it elsewhere with more context, perhaps a historical society or museum.
What can we do to show the actual history of Christopher Columbus instead of honoring him with a statue out here?
People call me an expert on Christopher Columbus and his life and voyages.
Inside Columbus's Antique Mall is a Christopher Columbus museum started by Dan Amato.
Title the statue at the exposition.
He had the statue built for the 1992 quincentennial celebration of Columbus landing in the Americas, saying it's a nod to how monumental Christopher Columbus's life is in our history and celebrates the city itself.
It's dedicated to all the citizens of Columbus, Wisconsin, past, present, and future.
Amato says it doesn't make sense to move the statue to the museum, which he says he's only planning to keep around for a few more years. But he's receptive to displaying it elsewhere. Adams says she isn't disputing Christopher Columbus's place in history, but would like the city to make conscious choices when facing the future.
Even if nothing happens, I'm hopefully going to be sparking a conversation within our community about what do we value, what should we be talking about when it comes to racial justice.
There are options for this statue, including taking it to the Knights of Columbus here in the city, but so far the future is still up in the air. In Columbus, Madeline O'Neill, News 3 Now.